This presentation helps explain the changes over time regarding childbearing, when to conceive, and how many.
The Walton family represents a typically large family from the 20th century. With their 7 children, they serve as a comparison for the much smaller families that we see today.
According to this article by USA Today, there has been an increase in the rate of births among women ages 15 to 44 by 1% from 2013 to 2014. This has been the first increase since 2007, which was the beginning of the recession. This shows that economic stability plays a role in childbearing.
The Huffington Post reports in this article that in 2014, 47.6% of women between the age of 15 and 44 had never had children. Looking at those after the age of 30, only 28.9% of women are child-free. This indicates that children are being delayed until your 30s. This table reports the total fertility rate of immigrants in their home countries. Overall, the figure shows that immigrants in the United States tend to have more children than the women in their home countries. Immigrants in the United States from these countries have a total fertility rate of 2.86 in 2002 compared to 2.32 for women in their home countries. There are about 23% more children born because of immigration to the United States, assuming that immigrants would have had the same fertility of women in their home countries. Table 1 indicates that immigration to the United States does add to the world population growth.
This graph shows us the proportion of men and women that have ever been married and are currently married from 1950 to 2010. Both percentages have been on steady decline since 1970. The percentages of men and women currently married is declining at a faster rate than the percentages that have ever been married, which shows that while there are still declining numbers of people that have ever been married, more so declining is the currently married, which means that more people are getting divorced because divorce has become more socially acceptable in our society lately. This article talks about how in America today there is no typical family structure like there was in the 1950s of a mother, father, and their biological children in the household. It describes the varying different family structures that we see today. This graph shows us the annual number of births per 1,000 women of childbearing age from 1920 to 2012. Though the numbers have fluctuated, the annual birth rate, the birth number of 2012 is a little bit over half of what it was in 1920, showing the overall decline in childbearing. This graph also shows the years of recession in the country, and in those years the childbearing rate declined. So that proves that economic factors of the nation has an impact or negative impact on the amount of children that women have.
This video shows the mindset many young couples are having today about not having kids because of how you are now able to enjoy life to its fullest and stop the ultimate crushing of your dreams and aspirations.
Feeling overwhelmed? Feeling stressed and burdened? Is it because everyone you know is having kids? Are you beginning to feel pressure from others to have children of your own? Do you find you are not yet ready to obliterate any chance you have left to enjoy life to its fullest? Then try not having kids. Not having kids is a new alternative to having kids that may help you achieve personal happiness and alleviate daily stress, eliminating the ultimate crushing of your dreams and aspirations. More and more people have turned to not having kids as a successful way of maintaining healthier levels of a thriving spirit and a fulfilling life. But not having kids is not for everyone.
With increasing educational opportunities for women, women began to focus more on pursuing post-secondary education and less on childbearing. This graph shows childlessness by educational attainment. As you can see, 24% of women ages 40 through 44 with a bachelor's degree had not had a child in 2008. Rates were similar for women with a master's degree and those with a doctorate or a professional degree. Although these percentages have declined compared to the early 90s, childlessness is still most common among highly educated women. Placing an emphasis on education also leads to women focusing on their careers. The traditional roles that categorized women as homemakers while husbands were the breadwinners are going away as more women are entering the workforce. As a result, women delay parenthood or do not have children at all because they think children would become obstacles in their career goals. In these cases, career ambitions take priority.
This graph has information taken from the U.S. Census from the years 1950 to 2010, and it not only shows a decrease in the amount of households with a child present, but also a decrease in the amount of households with a child present in which the parents are married in that household.
This article talks about the real reason women are delaying motherhood. Most feel unable to be the perfect mother due to demands of juggling and family. They're delaying having children for fear of not being the perfect mother. Almost 3/4 of those surveyed said the pressure of juggling a career and family life was putting them off trying to conceive. Claire Murphy of the BPAS said, "People take the decision to have a child extremely seriously indeed, and for the majority of women, finding the right person to do that with and ensuring that a child is being brought into a situation of financial stability is what matters most. Rather than continually warning women about the risks of older motherhood, it would be more productive to push for policy measures that enable women to better combine paid work and motherhood, as most clearly want to do, while ensuring the healthcare services are in place to support the needs of those who wish to or need to wait." This funny article from parenting.com compares how grandmother raised kids versus how we do. This good example is how parenting back then, parents didn't really feel guilty about any mistakes that they made. They just kind of, self-vibed themselves and moved on. Whereas now, parents are very worried about messing up their kids, and they blame themselves for too much.
This article talks about the effect of the recent Great Recession on families and childbearing. Most people wait until they are economically stable to begin having children, but during the Great Recession, economic stability was hard to come by. Because of this, women that were of childbearing age during the Great Recession seemed to put off and even forego having children altogether because they felt that they were not economically stable enough to have the children. So this is another factor that has led to the recent decline in childbearing in the country. This table shows us the median real family income for blacks and whites from 1950 to 2010. Both incomes increased from 1950 to 2000, but decreased from 2000 to 2010. This decrease in income might have been a factor in the decrease in childbearing, as children are expensive. Families, couples may have decided to have less kids or not have any kids if they felt they were not financially stable enough to care for them.
Christian principles and apprehension from Western medicine originally prevented contraception practices and programs from developing. However, the response today is very different. As illustrated in this cartoon, government today now plays a role in the promotion of birth control and other contraceptives. It also shows how even though churches are still reluctant in supporting these practices, individuals are still able to gain access to these means because of government policy, thus helping to decrease unwanted pregnancy and lower fertility in the United States. The biggest question that individuals pose before considering childbearing is, am I ready? Those who say no may abstain from sex or use contraception to prevent pregnancy. However, access is not universal and many lack the means to obtain contraceptives. Thus, unwanted pregnancies still occur today, but these pregnancies don't have a profound effect on increasing fertility. Although this graph does not depict specific reasons why couples are still having children, it does show that many still intend to have children, even if others make the decision to be childless. According to this graph, half of Americans say 2 is the ideal number of children for a family to have, reflecting a decades-long preference for a smaller family over a larger one. The graph also depicts that it is much more common for families to have children than to choose not to.